Hi, I'm Leo Cubbin. I'm the producer on LittleBigPlanet, and we'd like to show you some of the creation tools that we're using. So the basic creation tool that we use is called Popit, and we pull that up very simply by pressing square. And then you'll notice we've got a bag and a sack boy. We've also got an editing tool, and this at a later date will be what we use for publishing the levels. So if we go into our sack boy, the first thing we can do is we can change the base material and then change the heads and add head dresses. We can add dresses, different eyes. The idea is that you will be able to create almost a sort of infinite amount of characters. Obviously we're not going to have anything in there that would infringe anybody's copyright or trademark. So suffice to say, you wouldn't be able to make what you saw in that concept art. And possibly other people will create things that you can use. You know, they may create a hat or a rubber ring somehow, and you will be able to go into their level, pick that up, and then put it back into your inventory.
So user-generated content?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this game very much is about playing, creating, and sharing. And the creation part is obviously the user-generated content. The playing, when you get the game out of the box originally, it will all be levels created by the developer. But levels created by the developer using the same tools that the players can then use to create their own levels. And that's something we're really keen on, that there's going to be no disadvantage to the user and that they have exactly the same tools available to them. So if we go into this obviously you've got to remember that this is still quite early and there's still some iteration to be done. But we can pick some basic shapes, so I'm going to keep a block of wood here. I can make it bigger, I can twist it round. And then when I'm happy with the basic shape, I can just stamp it and drop it into the world. And it's there, it's very physical. You can do what you want with it. Straight away you can see you can decorate that. And then the other type of thing that we can do is use a different material. Just bring that forward a bit. I'm going to cut this. This is another ability we have, a cutting tool. There you go. I'm then going to place it on here. I'm just going to remove that if I can. And I'm going to put in a mechanical bolt. This mechanical bolt, once it's released, will actually move the object. And although that's just a very simple thing, straight away you can see how somebody might start to use this to create machines, which can then become complicated and interesting.
Yeah.
So as well as this type of thing, we've got some pre-made objects which can be dropped into the world. So I've got a basket here, stamp that in. I can put a couple in. You see straight away they're physical, they can be played with. And these pre-made objects, it might be something that a user has created and left in their level for you to then go and collect.
How does that work? How do you collect something from somebody else's level?
I mean, in the same way that you, when you play through the game, you collect. At the moment, we show sponge as what you collect, and that just signifies a resource that you'd be collecting to be able to make things with. The plan is that a player creates their own level, and they may leave what we call a gift in the level. So they may have created, I mean, for argument's sake, this bit of wood, this sort of windmill thing, they've created that. If you complete their level, you can take that as a gift with you. I mean, I can show you quite simply how we take this whole object, stamp it, and I can then make copies of it and just stamp them into the world. The limitation, obviously, as with any game, there are going to be size limits, and that's something we've yet to work out, to be honest. But at the moment, you can build quite a lot, really. think if we move over, the other thing you can do is to change the backgrounds. So this will be familiar to anyone who saw the GDC level. This was the background that we used for that. But we could also change that for a Japanese Zen garden, or a desert. So you can see how it's exactly the same as how we had it before. It just gives it a lot more sort of character and depth, and you can, you might theme around that. What's quite interesting is we've got some other developers who are really keen to actually make some backgrounds for us, obviously themed around the games that they've developed. Can't really say at this stage who they are, but if it comes off, it'd be really exciting.
So we could, for example, see a Killzone themed.
That would be great, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is an example of a level that has been created by a user. Once we've sort of got these basic tools ready, we wanted to test them, so we got a couple of people on the team who aren't normally involved in level design, and just gave them half a day, said play with the tools, see what you can create. And you can see here that the guy that did this, he's gone for a very up and down level rather than a sort of left to right platformer. If I join you on there. And I don't know if you can sort of pick out some of the things that we had before. This is just the shapes that we could quite simply stamp out, and then he's used some mechanical bolts to bolt some other shapes to it, and then you can then use those to throw yourself up the level.
How big could one of the user-generated levels be?
The level that we showed at GDC is essentially the biggest level.
Right.
And at the moment the plan is that there will be sort of 3 scales of level. The GDC level would be the biggest, and then if you imagine one about 2/3 the size of that, and then one about 1/3 of the size of that. Because for some people, they're not going to want to create a huge, massive gameplay area. I think some people are just going to want to create a space where there's just different things to do, and they may show their own stickers, and it may just be very much about collection. Here's some things I've made, you can collect them. So the idea is that, and with the GDC level that we showed, that can be played with 1 player. It's just a lot more fun to play it with 4 players. So throughout the whole game that we produce and develop, you're going to be able to play it as a single player. You're going to be able to play a different take on it with multiplayer. And the plan is, we think very much of a PlayStation 3 as a sofa. You get 4 people on a sofa, 4 people on a PlayStation 3, but you can also hook up with 3 other sofas online. So that was just a small demo of LittleBigPlanet and what you can do with some of the creation, which we've been showing at the German Games Convention, and we look forward to showing you a little bit more at the Tokyo Game Show.